it mean to you to have Zim back?
You know, if I got Zim back, awesome. You know, I think Zim might want to come back. I told you, I think, you know, he's ready to ride from the sunset. To him, it's not even about money anymore. I think he got to want to do it, but, you know, he's my guy. We're going to have dinner next week. We said we're going to have dinner before I head off on my off-season adventures. But, man, if he comes back and the conversation is right and he gets compensated right, because the way he's held up, missing out corners, missing D linemen, and did his thing, he's definitely earned the opportunity himself.
Well, Dallas Cowboys fans, strap yourselves in. It's clearly going to be a hectic offseason. Whether it's entertainment or news, it seems like we're not going to have a lack of things to talk about as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys and what this team could look like headed into the 2025 season. Now, that clip you just heard right there was Micah Parsons commenting on whether or not he wants Mike Zimmer back, and just from that clip, you already know we got a lot to talk about. But in addition to that, we have Mike McCarthy being requested for an interview and Jerry Jones's hand being forced. DeMarvion Overshown gives an update on his return from injury, and much, much more. So again, if you want all the latest up-to-date Cowboys news, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right into this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Micah Parsons is truly trying to build his kingdom as the Lion King. See what I did there? By bringing in a cheetah to the savannah. Now, we already have an eagle here. We already have a lion here. We already have a lamb here. So what's adding another wildlife creature? And the cheetah and Tyreek Hill is, I don't know if y'all know, but Tyreek Hill, he does not seem very happy with the Miami Dolphins right now.
Man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but
I mean, you thinking about leaving here?
if it is, hey, it gets.
Yeah, so just based off that clip, it seems like he's ready to chunk up the deuces the way he used to do. He was running into the end zone, and the Dallas Cowboys seems to be one of the destinations that everyone thinks that he could possibly end up at. So much so to the point to where the betting odds on Tyreek Hill's next team, the Dallas Cowboys, are at the top of that list with 3-1 betting odds that he's going to end up with the boys. All right, so would I like Tyreek Hill to be here? Absolutely. It would be amazing. Can they actually afford for something like this to happen? Yes, man. Look across the league. There's too many examples of other teams showing you it's possible. Dead cap or not, there's too many examples. We can't ignore those. Will Jerry Jones actually make a move like this? Highly unlikely. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but maybe with the influence of some of his star players pushing him in that direction, and Micah saying, hey, Jerry, I'll take a little bit off the top if you go out and make this move real quick. Maybe stuff like that could help influence this type of decision, and maybe Tyreek Hill could really want to revitalize his career with the Cowboys, man. I think that would be a perfect spot for a player like Tyreek Hill, and trust me, it's some pretty women out here in Dallas, Tyreek. Just stay away from my wife, bro. Stay away from my wife, we cool, but it's some pretty women out here in Dallas. You can make even more of them kids you like making if you were to come out here, man. But Tyreek Hill is being recruited by Micah Parsons. I'm not going to invest too much into this, but I think it was interesting to talk about as a preliminary discussion. If anything else comes of it, we will revisit this, but as of right now, it's just Micah sending out a tweet. Now, as it pertains to Micah Parsons and his contract extension, we talk about money, so let's talk about Micah and his contract extension. It seems like that Micah has been on top of it. He is not going to allow the Joneses to just slow play this thing, and Micah's not the only one that's going to not allow the Joneses to slow play this thing, but Micah's already reached out to Jerry. Jerry said so after the game that Micah Parsons already reached out to him, and they're supposed to sit down and talk at the Cotton Bowl about his upcoming contract extension. And I think Micah Parsons has made it very, very clear that he wants to get this done as early as possible, and he is willing to give the Cowboys a discount in order to do so. So I think at this point, he's put himself in the clear. As fans, we cannot look at him throughout this process, no matter how long it actually takes or what actually transpires. We cannot look at this and say that Micah Parsons is at fault in any way. He's already soundly put the ball in the court of the front office, and now they're going to show us whether they're going to shoot that mug or if they're going to get a 24-second violation. It's up to them at this point, but Micah Parsons is moving very, very smartly as it pertains to his negotiation with the Cowboys, man. I've just been impressed with the young man. It seems like like after he got a little bit of flack after his Mike McCarthy comments and some of the stuff he was talking about on his podcast, he's really tightened up, man. He's really been about his business and really doing a lot to show the Cowboys nation that he's trying to help this team return to greatness on and off the field. And I think we all have to appreciate him for that fact. Now, as far as helping the Cowboys on the field, right? Micah Parsons was asked about whether he thinks Mike Zimmer is going to return. That was the clip that you heard at the very beginning of the show. He was asked about Mike Zimmer, and I don't know about y'all, but that clip just really didn't sound like Micah Parsons himself even believed that Mike Zimmer truly had a shot at returning, whether it be because Mike Zimmer just got engaged to his fiance and he's ready to ride off into the sunset with his young hot wife, or he just doesn't feel respected by the organization as it pertains to what they're willing to pay him or what they're willing to make it worth for him. It seems like there's other factors that could keep Mike Zimmer from being back here. Micah Parsons, yes, he said if he has Zimmer, awesome, but he doesn't know if Zimmer even wants to be back, and he has to want to come back. And I think I'm with Mike on that. Everybody that's on the Cowboys next season, they have to want to be here. I don't want anybody that's lukewarm. I don't want anybody that's hot or cold and 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I don't want guys that's contemplating retirement. But either you want to play the game and you're invested in what's going on with the Cowboys in the 2025 season, or you're not. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. And Jerry Jones has said as much as well as it pertains to the coaches. And he said that in response to the fact that people were asking him about if Mike McCarthy were to go take interviews. Jerry Jones actually said that, oh, if I want a coach that wants to be here. Well, Jerry, guess what? It's out of your control now, because before you were able to make a decision, the Chicago Bears have sought permission to interview Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy and are awaiting a response from Dallas. Sources tell Adam Schefter and Todd Archer. If the Cowboys don't allow permission this week, the Bears could interview McCarthy after his exclusive negotiating window with Dallas expires January 14th. This is amazing, amazing, amazing news, and we have to thank the Chicago Bears organization right here, because this is going to force Jerry Jones's hand. This is going to force Jerry to show us what he's really thinking about as it pertains to the future of this team and what he wants to do. If he allows Mike McCarthy to go ahead and do this interview, then it's highly likely that Jerry Jones and company are going to have a backup plan in place at the very minimum for a new head coach, or they're going to have to really start giving some serious thoughts about looking for a new head coach. Because if Mike starts doing interviews, then I think at that point all bets are off. You just never know how those kind of things can go, and you don't want to be left as a lame duck organization with no head coach and all the other viable candidates taken up. That's just the worst possible scenario. So this is going to force the Joneses' hand. This is going to force them to have to do something, and I think this is the best case scenario for Dallas Cowboys fans. So again, shout out to Chicago Bears, man. We should hear some news very, very soon as it pertains to, are they going to allow him to interview, and what does that mean? And I'm sure we're going to have more to talk about as it pertains to this, probably around this time tomorrow, hopefully. But outside of that, we have some news from DeMarvion Overshown, and he says that his recovery time is 9 months. And when asked when he'll return from knee surgery, he said he'll be back playing football for sure in 2025, and it won't be in December. It will be before that. So he essentially just told us he's going to be playing football for the Cowboys in the first half of the season at some point, even after that knee injury. So that's really, really good news from DeMarvion Overshown. And if anybody could come back from something like that and still play a high level of football, I think it's a guy like a DeMarvion Overshown that really just leaves it all out there on the field. And he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to cheat you on effort in any kind of way, right? So hopefully he doesn't rush himself back, cause any other type of injuries, or just cause any type of negative impact on his career long term. But again, if anybody can do this, I'm sure DeMarvion Overshown will be the guy that's capable of doing this. Now, other thing I want to go ahead and talk about is the Cowboys. Jerry Jones has been talking about Mike McCarthy and whether or not he could come back and some of the circumstances he may come back under. And one of the things he discussed was having Mike McCarthy come back with an offensive play caller, a new offensive play caller. That right there, the fact that Jerry Jones is even discussing putting more stipulations on Mike McCarthy, if you're Mike McCarthy, why would you come back to the Dallas Cowboys when you have other organizations who appreciate the caliber of coach you are and what you're capable of doing for an organization as far as bringing organizational stability and consistency, having 12-5 records 3 years in a row, and one of the top-ranked offenses, and players respect you and all the other stuff. You have organizations willing to pay you properly and give you pretty much free reign explain what you need to do, why would you come back to the Cowboys if Jerry's trying to pretty much put stipulations on what you're going to be allowed to do already in the media before negotiations have even really started with you guys again? So this could be interesting. This could be a very interesting period for the Dallas Cowboys. It's not a guarantee that we have the same head coach. I mean, I think it still ends up being Mike McCarthy at the end of the day, but we'll find out very, very quickly, and we stick the same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.